I just watched the movie Sorry Baby, and here are my thoughts. Trigger warning, this movie does have a main plot line of SA, so please watch my video as well as the movie at your own discretion. Those of you who don't know, Sorry Baby is the directorial debut of Eva Victor, who also wrote and stars in the movie as well. Stars as the character Agnes, who is a college graduate student in the New England area. She is an aspiring literature professor who for most of the movie is showcased with her best friend, Lydia. The main plot point of Sorry Baby really takes off after the traumatic event of Agnes being essayed by her college professor and mentor, Preston Decker. The rest of the movie showcases how Agnes's life is completely altered because of this traumatic event, how people in her life are reacting to an incident of essay, and how her mental state and her job are affected by this. Sorry Baby, for me, is one of the best films that I have seen this year, and it is truly a masterclass in how you do indie filmmaking. I saw this movie in theaters, and I was completely blown away by everything about it, between the writing, the acting, the cinematography, just everything about it was so stunning. I think one thing that was so wonderful about the movie was that it felt incredibly real and incredibly authentic. There was nothing completely dramatized about these events. The dialogue between Agnes and Liddy are stunning and funny and raw and real, and I think it was the highlight of the movie for me was all of their interactions that they had together. I thought Liddy, who is played by Naomi Ackie, was so funny and so wonderful to watch. I also watched her in Mickey 17 as well as now this, and I think her acting is absolutely incredible, and I think this movie really showcases that. Another positive I had about this movie was how it jumps timelines. I thought it was such a cool concept for the audience to see all of these events, like not in chronological order. You see Agnes at her present day, and then you start to see why she is where she is throughout the movie, what events have led her to this point. And I thought that was really, really cool to watch, because as an audience member, you are getting introduced to Agnes and you're almost like you're watching it in flashbacks. I also thought something else that was so amazing about this that I mentioned before was the cinematography and the lighting aspect of this movie. The movie is, like I said, very real and very authentic feeling. And during the daytime scenes, there are these hues of blue and grays, and it really gives off the feeling of this very droll, depressing world that Agnes is living in. And during points where you're at Agnes's house or when it's nighttime, it's a lot more like oranges and ambers, and it brings more of like a fire and an emotion, whether Agnes in that moment is feeling passion or anger. So I think the lighting really helped showcase emotion in this movie, which I was truly impressed with. I also thought that the shots and the camera work were really amazing in this movie. There are two shots in particular that I thought were absolutely stunning. There's one where Agnes is first leaving her professor's house, and there's a good 2 minutes where you just see these row houses, and it's just the day to night change of all of these houses. And I didn't need to hear any dialogue or see what happened to know what happened. I thought that those scenes were brilliant because I didn't need to hear any dialogue or even see what was going on to understand what Eva Victor and the rest of the crew were trying to get across in that scene, and I thought it was brilliant. Another scene that I truly liked was when Agnes is leaving in her car, and again, it's no dialogue. This movie is amazing at just having face and noise and just very real shots. In the scene, Agnes is driving away after the incident, and you just kind of hear the rocks under her car and her feet stepping on leaves, and it is a shot of her like through in the windshield, and you could just see her face, and I thought that it showed so much storyline without even saying anything, and I thought that was something that this movie thrived on. Like I said before, the main aspect that I truly loved about this film was the relationship between Agnes and Liddy. I thought their connection as friends never wavered throughout the movie, and like I said, this spans multiple timelines, so they are friends in every one of these timelines. They remain friends after all of these incidents. I think in the past I've seen a lot of movies that deal with SA, and there's always drama between the victim of it and their friends. And I thought what was so amazing about this movie is that Liddy was just an unwavering, amazing, supportive friend. She never faltered. She never questioned Agnes. She just absolutely tried to take care of her, and I thought that that was the beauty of the movie. There were two instances where I thought Liddy was absolutely incredible. I thought one instance that I really enjoyed Liddy was during a point where Agnes had this very brief moment where she thought she was going to burn down her professor's office, and Liddy just kind of offers up and is like, I'm going to do it for you. Like, I want vengeance. And I thought that that was just an incredible friend to really just be there for her, for Agnes in that moment. Also enjoyed another scene where Liddy takes Agnes to the doctor the night after the incident, and there's a scene where she's just like swaying her feet in the doctor's office, and it's so small of a moment, but it just kind of humanizes everything. Like I said, nothing felt dramatized about this. This felt like a real, authentic moment for these characters, and Liddy just trying to make Agnes smile during that moment was so wonderful to see. And during the point, she fights back with the doctor. Another character that I really enjoyed was the character of Gavin, who eventually ends up being Agnes's love interest. He is played by Lucas Hedges. Gavin is Agnes's neighbor, and throughout the movie, they have this on-again, off-again, friends with benefits relationship, as Agnes is struggling to make connections if she wants to be in a relationship or not because of a lot of the incidents, and she doesn't understand where her future lies. There's this wonderful scene that I truly enjoyed where Agnes and Gavin are sharing a bath. Gavin is talking about what Agnes sees for her future in regards to children and marriage, and Agnes truly doesn't know what she wants in this moment, and she doesn't know what the future holds for her after what has happened in her life. I think the best thing about this scene that my friend pointed out to me is that Gavin is clearly a male character written by a woman. He is respectful, he is kind, he asks for consent, he listens to Agnes. He is truly the model person for what a woman deserves in a partner. And Gavin and Agnes, we don't know what happens to their fate throughout the movie, but Gavin is always considerably a respectful character. And I think that's what's so brilliant about Gavin, is that he's the complete opposite of what Agnes has dealt with. Overall, I thought Sorry Baby was one of the best films I've seen this year, possibly in the last couple years. I have not stopped thinking about it. It is truly a remarkable movie, and if you haven't seen it yet, please get out there and see it and support these small indie films. I'm so excited to see the success and critical acclaim of this movie and seeing what comes next for other indie and LGBT filmmakers. I'm very excited to see where the future of this genre goes, because if this is the future, then we're in for amazing movies. So much for watching. If you'd like a more in-depth analysis of Sorry Baby, you can follow me on Letterboxd, where I have a fully written review. And thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous night. Bye.